This episode is brought to you by JLL. Get an insider view into the world of commercial real estate with JLL's podcast, Trends and Insights, the Future of Commercial Real Estate. Whether you're curious about making cities more sustainable, the evolution of office space, or AI opportunities, this podcast will help keep you a step ahead. Tune in for candid conversations with business leaders about the biggest trends impacting how we live, work, and play. Subscribe to Trends and Insights now at jll.com/podcast.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 2062. Parents, we need to listen with the third ear. And 3 tips for building bridges to adult friendships with your young adult. Both by Dr. Jack Stoltzfus of parentslettinggo.com. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome back to another parenting episode of ORD. My name is Greg Audino. I'm your host and narrator. And today I've got not one, but rather 2 shorter posts for the parents out there. They're both coming courtesy of Dr. Jack Stoltzfus, and as always, they focus on how to build connections with your children, especially as they age and emerge into adulthood. That's what Dr. Jack likes to write about. So let's get right to this first post now as we optimize your life. Parents, we need to listen with the third ear, by Dr. Jack Stoltzfus of parentslettinggo.com. Did you ever have a conversation with someone and you believed there was something they were not telling you? Maybe something was left out in their sharing, or their body language suggested something different than what you were hearing. Theodore Reich, a 20th century psychoanalyst, wrote a book entitled Listening with the Third Ear. What he meant by that was the practice of listening for the deeper layers of meaning, to listen for what is not said. With our young adults, much can be unsaid. Listening with the third ear. So, how can we listen to our young adult children with the third ear? First, we can ask for clarification. Can you say more about X, or help me understand what you are trying to say? Young adults may not clearly know what they are thinking or feeling. In such cases, a sincere, caring, gentle, probing, open-ended question may be able to surface this in their mind as well as yours. Second, we may share an observation that the way they are communicating doesn't match with what they are saying. For instance, a young adult, when asked about how his day was, says, "Fine," but his tone and body language may suggest otherwise. I'm reminded of the findings of Ray Birdwhistle, that no more than 35% of communication is the actual spoken word. 65% is nonverbal. Thirdly, we may sense, intuition, that our young adult is not either willing or able to share something that is below the surface. If we detect this, we can ask if there is something the young adult is not sharing. However, it is important to back off if the young adult says no, either explicitly or says he doesn't want to talk about it. Listening can't be intrusive, and it takes timing. Sometimes just letting the young adult know we are interested and willing to listen is the best we can do. 3 critical development tasks. Finally, it's important to listen for specific young adult themes. Beyond just a desire to be happy and have fun, young adults are trying to make progress on 3 critical developmental tasks: identity, independence, and intimacy. Failure to make progress on these 3 tasks is almost always the underlying cause of unhappiness. If you think of these 3 items, you will be able to explain 90% of the source of a young person's actions. Tattoos and piercings, wearing strange clothes, outrageous hairstyles. These are all efforts to create an identity, if not an expression of independence. Arguments about the use of cars, staying out late, wanting to attend a specific college or no college, are signs of asserting one's identity and independence. Pursuing an intimate relationship, either explicitly or unbeknownst to the parents, are efforts to explore relationships and intimacy. Unfortunately, not all actions on these critical developmental tasks are constructive. Our job as parents is to listen to underlying themes and find ways to support the healthy expressions of these. It's easier and less contentious to focus on constructive efforts to address these developmental tasks than always challenging questionable ways they might choose to address these. 3 tips for building bridges to adult friendships with your young adult, by Dr. Jack Stoltzfus of parentslettinggo.com. Both parents and young adults envision a future characterized by mutual friendship and respect. But there are times when this seems far off, if not impossible. Repeated conflicts, challenges to authority, stretching the boundaries, questioning the values, and exploring lifestyles that may seem alien blur the future vision. How do you get from the here of a strained relationship between a parent and young adult to the there of a friendship based on respect? The short answer is that it isn't always easy, and the road can be bumpy. It's important to be patient and stay the course. Parents can influence the course of this journey by building the following bridges to that future state. Number 1. Start early. Begin while they are still in high school, or even earlier, to establish a more adult-to-adult relationship outside the home. When you change venues and you go to a restaurant, you are no longer on the parent's turf, and the relationship and conversation can change. You build a bridge to a new space for the future of your relationship. By the way, you will know that the relationship has changed when your son or daughter offers to pay. Number 2. Non-judgmental listening. When you spend time with your young adult, whether inside or outside of the home, practice developing a bridge of understanding by employing non-judgmental listening. In this type of listening, the parent reflects back or summarizes what he hears the young adult say to ensure understanding of the young adult. It's important to listen with the third ear, the heart. By reflecting back not just the content, but the emotions, you are making an important emotional connection. Emotions are the currency of intimacy, and a bridge to a deeper relationship. Sure, there are times we need to interject our opinion, but as parents, we can always do a better job of just listening. And number 3, act as a consultant. Offer the bridge of being a consultant for your son or daughter. By this, I mean offer them ideas and options when they are facing a problem or considering an important decision. When you make the offer, you have to explain the role of a consultant. This is a person often hired by a company to offer advice and solutions to problems the company may be facing. The company has the option to consider or reject the consultant's ideas. The best way to approach a son or daughter is to ask yourself if this is a decision the young adult has to make and you are willing to accept. If yes, offer consultation. Explain how you would be willing to be a consultant. Explain this role and how you offer suggestions, but he or she is solely responsible for the decision, whether he or she considers your advice or not. Whatever the decision, you will accept. And if he or she agrees to your consultation, offer your ideas, let him or her choose, and don't evaluate the choice. Regardless of the decision, say thank you for considering your advice. You just listened to the posts titled, Parents, We Need to Listen with the Third Ear, and 3 Tips for Building Bridges to Adult Friendships with Your Young Adult, both by Dr. Jack Stoltzfus of ParentsLettingGo.com, and be sure to stick around for my commentary coming up in just a sec.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Now, there's a lot of talk about New Year's resolutions right now, and most of them revolve around either a healthier lifestyle or freeing up some time for ourselves. Why not both? Get started on your resolutions with Factor, so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. And what I really like is that when things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So head to factormeals.com/optimal50, that's optimal50, and use code optimal50 to get 50% off. That's code optimal50 at factormeals.com/optimal50 to get 50% off.
Okay, and thank you so much to Dr. Jack for providing both of these great articles for us today. As always, he has so much insight that parents are wise to listen to intently. Now, regarding his first article, Listening with the Third Eye, it's always a great concept to keep in mind when trying to learn about anyone, not just our kids. And that being said, when attempting to do so, we also have to stay mindful of our own biases. Listening closely is just part of the equation. We also need to make sure that we're keeping our urges to confirm our own preconceived notions at bay. Oftentimes there are answers we are expecting to find or answers we want to find, and the feelings behind these can be more powerful than our ability to listen and extract information objectively. So it's really worth your time to check in with yourself and really make sure you don't have your mind made up before doing this type of listening. If you're going in with such an agenda, you are pretty unlikely to make real progress with your children or whomever you might be listening to. So something to think about, parents, but now it is time to get going and sign off as we have reached the end. I really appreciate you showing up here today, though, and listening through to the end. Have a great rest of your Friday if you're listening in real time. Stay safe, have fun, and be sure to join us again over the weekend where your optimal life awaits.